All righty then, everybody. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, May 7th of 2021, and this is the TRC, the Realty Classroom Sales Training Call. So I'm going to go look in the magical email, meaning the right email, and hopefully all of you use the right email, and I will look for the order. Remember, when you send me your calls for review, the best thing to do is send them the day or the morning of. I appreciate the early birds, but really the day before is not good because you will get buried and unfortunately might get missed. So I will do my best to go backwards to take a quick look from yesterday. And but remember, next week would be great if you could do this. All right, Carla, you can unmute your mic. I had to mute everybody because there were too many mics that were open. So Carla, if you want to come into the hot seat with me first, you're there. We'll go speed rounds today. You there?
Yes, sir.
You rock.
Yes.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so you had tell me about this. This is a seller follow-up, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a seller follow-up, but, unfortunately, when I called him, he sounded, I don't know if he just took medicine or he was half asleep but go ahead, listen to it, and he sounds a little bit groggy, so he never said to me, call me back, I'm half asleep. So I just continued, so you can listen. It was about a 3-minute call. It would have even been less, but he put me on hold because he was talking to his wife, which is in the background, about when they can be seen for Jeanette to come out. So I did make an appointment.
Okay, cool. Okay, were you critiquing yourself here that you thought that you could have done better? It was interesting, your build up here.
Yes, I thought I could have done better because there's a long pause. Well, when you hear it, and again, your mind plays like tricks on you as you're on the call.
Yes.
No, it does.
I know.
It's
I
like
agree.
my
That's
mind
why I
was like, okay, the guy's half asleep. Should I ask him that? Well, go ahead and listen, but you'll understand why I'm saying that.
Okay.
But it's a good follow, and I know you've been saying you want follow-up calls.
Yeah.
And this is a good
follow-up. All right, here we go. Let's take a look.
Okay. Hi, good morning, Gregory.
Yes.
Hi, Gregory. This is Carla from RE/MAX Champions. We spoke last week, and I sent you that information that will help you with your home the next time. Did you get it?
I did, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. As it looks like a nice property, why were you trying to sell it to begin with?
It's too much for me.
Okay.
74 years old.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you'd like to downsize.
We're going to move back to the piece of property that we came from.
Okay. On a scale of like 1 to 10, how motivated would you be on selling if you got the right price?
Oh, geez, 10.
Okay. All right. Because you're so highly motivated, what I'd like to do, as you see on the paperwork, Jeanette's name is there. She's our team member. She's the realtor that lives in your area in Victorville, Apple Valley area she covers. So I'd like to have her stop by and give her insight on your home for maybe 30 minutes or so, whenever it's convenient for you, any day next week.
Well, my wife is not going to be here next week, so anyway, what time are you, when are you going to Washington? Huh? Real estate. Huh? You what? Okay, she'll be back on Thursday.
Okay, if you'd like, we can do it a week from this Thursday or next Friday, whichever is better for you.
It doesn't matter.
Either way?
Yeah, either way.
Okay, well, let's have Jeanette stop by. Why don't we give your wife at least time to get back home? We'll do it next Friday, a week from this Friday.
Okay.
Okay, is morning better for you or afternoon?
Afternoon.
Okay, so maybe let's do a week from this Friday between 12 and 1.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have Jeanette stop by a week from this Friday between 12 and 1, and she'll give her insight and answer any questions for you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. It ends there. What's missing?
Well, I felt that there was too long of a pause, number one. I mean, there was too long of a pause of me waiting for them to get back. I felt after I got off the phone, I thought, why didn't I say Saturday to come out
Okay.
this
All right. Well,
Saturday?
all right. Cool. That's fine.
More
But
urgent.
hold on. But there's an even bigger something missing. At the very end, you got the appointment and you're hanging up.
Right.
What's missing? We have a
I don't know.
process. Okay. We have a process that you're fully responsible for to book the most qualified appointment. What's missing?
The seller questionnaire.
Okay. Why did you not go into it?
Okay, I'm going to be honest here. I did.
I hope so. I hope so. You're not going to lie to me, are you?
No. No, I did ask Kyle last week. I had emailed him and I had mentioned to him. I said, "Don't you want me to go through the seller questionnaire when I'm done with the call, so I can ask a few more questions?" And to be honest, I haven't heard back from him. I'm just being honest.
Carla.
That's the truth.
Carla, that's a bad excuse. I'm
Okay.
Kyle's coach. We follow a
Right.
system. Kyle sends you here for guidance. Why are you asking him? He sent you here. What do we
Right.
do? What's the job of the
Well,
telemarketer?
Right. Well, I should have asked you for the seller questionnaire.
Okay, so you don't have a copy of it. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, I
well,
did not.
that, my dear, could have been
No.
resolved in seconds, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. That can be resolved in seconds. Don't ever
Okay.
not be resourceful. Okay.
Okay.
That's just, you should
Okay.
be kicking a door down for that. That's on
Okay.
you. That's on you, not him.
Yes.
He's a busy
I agree.
guy and he sends you to me. And this is a resource. And, this is, by the way, this is for all of you. That this is a system. And in order for us to keep you away from the werewolf, you have to stay on the yellow brick path. There's nothing wrong with this call that's out of bounds. I mean, could we tighten things up? Sure. You're starting.
Yeah.
See what's interesting? You started to micro critique yourself when there's a massive macro missing. Follow me?
Right.
You have a massive,
I do.
it's
I
a
do.
massive macro because I spent time last week with Jeanette trying to really make sure that when she goes into this property, that she's
Right.
really set up for success herself and that she adheres very closely to a process because she's never been, taught that process, right? So,
Right.
so I just went over it with her, like right down to the beats. I don't know if Jeanette's on here today, but I went right down into the beats with Jeanette that said, look, because Jeanette was pretty dang close. She does a good job, right? So she was very close and, it was almost there. And so, sorry, I'm walking and chewing gum at the same time because you're not going to.
That's okay. She's actually out a listing, a possible listing.
I know. Hang on.
I sent her.
Hang on. Slow down.
Go ahead.
I am looking for the seller qualifying questionnaire right now because you're going to have it right now in your email, and that's never going to happen again. Okay.
Thank you.
So
yes, thank
you there you go. It's in your email. You are now fully responsible for that.
Perfect.
It's not a question because the idea is, I mean, he's slow talking and I get it. We feel like maybe this is going on too long. Those are all our own feelings, right?
Right.
Wonderful.
Right.
And just slow it down to match his speed. Wonderful. In order for Jeanette to be I love you're using the word insight. You're saying all the right things. And I think Sam gave you a compliment here that said you sound so in control because you do. You sound mature. You sound professional. It sounds great. Okay. But ultimately the idea here is, and again, everybody focused up here, please too. If you're going to chat, make sure that you're talking to me while you're chatting in here too. But Sam, come in here and say, why are you saying that? Why are you saying Carla, it sounds in control? What does that mean to you? Because I agree with her, Carla. Now it's just stay in control.
Yes,
You have like Energizer Bunny energy, right?
I
You're
do.
like me. You're just, but the problem is that's almost like gets our ADD going. Where it's blah, 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 and I didn't do it because blah, 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 blah. Not acceptable.
I agree.
You are 100% responsible for the entirety of the process to the best of your ability. Grant Van Dyke has actually even built it into his Infusionsoft system for Kelly. And I don't know where they're at, with getting their Infusionsoft system where that qualifying questionnaire is there. I am telling you, and I said it on the call on Campfire yesterday afternoon, I said, there are questions in there that are so unbelievably critical to the success of the appointment, not the least of which is, how much do you think the property is worth? That is, to me, as the person, one of the people that would be going out on these appointments, I need to know that from Autumn and Kathy. I need to know that. What do they think it's worth? Because that's going to set the tone. That's sort of the point at which the tone is set. If it's reasonable, wonderful. These people already sound reasonable. It's going to be a different tone. If it's not reasonable, I'm going to have to weigh more heavily on the evidence, and I'm going to have to slowly draw them into something that might not help them, conclude what they were concluding, and lead the audience rather than hammer the audience. It's everything to me. So what you just did was you set her up for a blind appointment. You're victorious. It's an appointment. Good job. And you nailed down a guy who's 74. And if you got the right price, he's a 10. Excellent, excellent job on the second beat. Okay. So first beat, second beat, book the appointment. But now qualify the appointment for Jeanette.
Yes, I will.
So that when she goes in and she applies herself to this, she hits the neighborhood. She does her drive-by to the neighborhood, takes a quick peek of what's going on. And now I'm talking to all you outside salespeople too, so that you have a visual. I drive into the neighborhood. I get there a little bit early so I can drive around, look at the effect of the neighborhood. I pull up into the driveway. I have my package. I open it up, right? Let me grab one of these for all of you that are visual today. You'll be able to see legitimately what this looks like. So I am going to go into the driveway, and there's a package that looks just like this, okay? The pretty parts are for them. The business part is for me. I'm going to pull this manila folder out, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to look for the seller qualifying questionnaire. Now, again, this one's blank because this is just a sample, but that's the first thing I'm going to look for. I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to look, why are you thinking about selling? Huge. Motivation. Okay. And then I'm going to, skip down, and I'm going to try to figure out, what do you think it's worth? If there's nothing else that I skip through and see that's that. Then I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to take a look at what's the best feature of the home, right? Because I want to know what they think is important so that when I'm doing the walkthrough, but I am totally prepared from one dang piece of paper, right? I have better context. I can be so much more helpful and insightful when I have this info. I'm going to repeat that. I can be so much more helpful and insightful for them if I have this information. That's how important it is. So I'm going to dangle it here for all of you that are live, and you can see this here today. This is everything to me in order to serve these people at the highest level, whether or not I win the listing. If you don't think I'm authentic about being a person for others, here's the sheet that I'm telling you is the only way I can do that. Now, of course, if I'm really good and professional like this, the chances of me getting the listing increase by many-fold. I'm not going to put a number on it, 5-fold, 10-fold, whatever, but I'm going to say by many-fold, because I was more organized, I was precise, I was insightful, and I come across as the most helpful. That puts me in the pole position to win the listing. It's everything. The microeconomics.
Yes, and I got your email. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I will make sure to use this. I promise you.
And no more blaming Kyle. And no more blaming Kyle.
No.
For the slow response.
And I didn't mean to be blaming
I know.
Kyle.
I know you didn't, but it's just what we do is when I catch
I love it.
When I catch you with the headlights, it's not to embarrass you, it's to make you aware. right? That
I love it.
this is
Thank you.
wonderful 2 beats. Like Carla, wonderful. Like really perfect, because you got through the first one. You pick up. This is a follow-up call. This is what I wanted people to hear. What is it like when you call back? You went right back to the formula. You stuck to the formula. You got the result we need. You got the appointment. Okay.
No, I love it. Thank you. And I got your email. I'm on it.
Good.
I promise you. Next call.
Okay. So next call, when you get a seller qualifying questionnaire, I want to hear that too, so we can close the loop. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Good job. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Mute. Hi.
Yep, there you are. Okay, you're up.
All right, mine is really a strange call. I just want to see how you would have handled it.
Sure.
Because I've had this before.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Jason.
Yep, this is Jason.
Hey, this is Ann with Paradigm Realty, and the reason I'm calling you is I noticed your beautiful home in Wildomar online today, and that it didn't sell. So I did want to send you a free packet of information that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
May I ask how you got my information?
You're on the MLS, expired.
Oh, do you know you're not supposed to use that to contact people?
Really? No, I didn't know.
Don't say that. Don't say that. And that's not true. That's just not true, right? If he's not on the do not call list or whatever, it's just like, that's one thing. But again, it could be because he got a lot of calls. So is that the point of this call? You want me to hear that?
Yeah, I just want to know what you say when someone says that.
Yeah. Just say in the public domain. Your number's in the public domain, because it is. It is. Go to Fast People Search. Is his name there? He's in the public domain, period.
Okay.
Got it? And why are you so threatened by me reaching out to you? You're in the public domain. Go to fastpeoplesearch.com if you don't want to be in the public domain and start taking your name down. You're in the public domain. All I was calling for was to send you some free information. If that's not interesting you, have a nice day. But you get apologetic here again, and you get deer in the headlights. I didn't know why. I want you to be more aggressive, Ann. Okay.
Okay.
You're like, again, here's a perfect example. So many of my, Autumn, can you mute your mic? I'm getting feedback. So the idea is what happens here. I always use that analogy of the plane crash, right? And that you're the nurse coming out with a bag to help people. And there's a plane crash in your backyard, and you come out with the bag, and the first thing that you encounter is a big burly football player, and he's bleeding, from his side. And you say, hang on, let me patch up. Get away from me, he yells. Don't you touch me. Can't you just see the plane crash? Do you run back in the house?
No.
Right. You keep going to help somebody else. Okay, whatever. Next, right? You have to keep moving forward. Like your training is to keep moving forward here. Everybody's number is easily accessible. I don't care what anybody thinks. They're on this private list, that private list. And the only reason we're calling, it's a non-solicitous call. Follow me? That's what makes this method different. Completely. It's a non-solicitous call. We are not cold calling you to solicit your listing. We are asking if we can send you some free information that will help you sell it the next time, period.
Okay.
And if they want, if they don't want it, just say no. Wonderful. Off you go. You don't need to take a lecture from this clown, right?
Right.
Just move on. Move on. You're in the public domain, right?
Okay.
I mean, you can still be pleasant. I don't have the tolerance for this kind of a call because, he's just cranky. And I deal from such a position of plenty in my career. And when I'm coaching, just move on. So when you get it a lot, right? Duh, right? Telemarketing, right? 101. You're going to get hammered in telemarketing by the crankies, the evils, the angries. It's just part of the numbers. So I think your technical question is good. Where'd you get my number? Public domain.
Public domain. Okay.
You're in the public domain, right? Fast People Search. I mean, it's a free public domain number lookup. It's out there, right? And that's how we can track anybody down. And that's just one source. They're not the only source for that, right?
Right.
So there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, again, I'm being aggressive with your coaching here because you've gotten to such an advanced level so quickly. It's now you're looking for those micro quick things to just get out of Dodge. You don't have to sit here and play this guy's game, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So good job. And it's a good question. It's a really good question.
Yeah, because I had it quite a bit this week for some reason.
Yeah, well, Jupiter doesn't align with Mars every week, evidently, when the stars, are talking about, themselves. I mean, it's you get these change of season, you get bad news in the public domain, you get people.
First of the month, Dave, all these houses that expire, they're getting hammered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
People are just cranky in
Right.
general. You're just gonna run into this at certain times of the year. Ellen's right? So you're not the only one, but just
Right.
again, stop being so apologetic. I want you to stand on your own 2 feet, take a punch, give a punch, and you can give them a little slap back. Say, "Oh, I was just calling to see if you wanted some free information to help you sell it. Who cares how I got it? Do you not want it? Right?
Okay. Right.
Who cares?
That's what I want. Okay.
Who cares?
That's
What do you work for the CIA? Right? I mean, right? So, and I'm saying that tongue in cheek to you.
Yeah, I know.
I respect that
I
the
know.
guy doesn't want it. I respect that the guy wants to know, yeah, you're in the public domain. Who isn't? Right? You do anything online, unless you live in the woods and you're disconnected technically. You don't think you're in the public domain? Come on. Right?
Okay.
Delusion. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Alan, you're up. Got a couple from you. 3 to be exact. And is Karen with us?
Yep, she is.
Hi, Karen.
Morning, how are you?
Great. Here we go. Okay.
It's Brady.
Hi. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Karen, and I'm with Allen's Luxury Homes. I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online and noticed that
It's closed. It's closed. It's sold.
Oh, you already?
Okay. Bad info. Next. That's an easy one. Here comes the next one.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Karen, and I'm with Allen's Luxury Homes. And I noticed that your beautiful home was online, and it didn't sell. So I would like to say, excuse me?
All right. This is the second time I hear you really. This one, Karen, you're definitely not athletically ready for this call. Okay. And good evening is different from saying the lady's name, unless it was a guy's name. And that's why you said good evening, right? So you can see in 17 seconds here, you're already discombobulated. The words are out of order, and it just makes it tougher for you to recover, right? So if we can just really go back to a couple of the calls that I've heard from you, that the first beat is very good, but this is an example of having to be very athletically ready to make this call. Let's see how you recover from a rough start here, or what she says.
It was actually, we pulled it off the market. Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, hang on 1 second. It's got stuck. That's on my end. It got stuck. Let me see.
Hello.
Good evening.
It was actually, we pulled it off the market. Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can. You took it off
Hello?
the market? Hello? Can you hear me?
We did.
Okay, what's going on here with the phone?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't catching her. She wasn't catching me.
but it's
we
not.
were
But it's not.
missing each other.
But it's not the first time I've heard it. Do we have a tech problem? Do you think? I mean,
I don't know.
okay. How often? You don't have to answer me now, but for this week, I'd like you to pay attention to how often you can't hear somebody, because it
Okay.
makes it. You lose all the rhythm. You lose
Right.
all the intimacy in the hello. It's a disaster for rhythm, right? So, and we're always having to recover. And so I need to make sure that there's not a technical difficulty. If there's not a technical difficulty with echoey phones or bad computer lines or whatever you use to call, we have to make sure that that's not an issue, right? And it shouldn't be in this day and age. We need, the best technology we can to make these outbound calls. The second part of this would be, is it you? right? Are you getting uncomfortable in having that two-way, being able to, and Karen, I think the default is always when somebody, talks at you, just let them talk, right? Just let them talk. Stop talking as quickly as possible. Let them talk. And Autumn has a good technique where she talks about having her finger, on the script. She always has the script near her, or at least, she's probably internalized most of it now. But to have a finger on the script to say, here's where I was at, or remember the beats that are up in front of you. That's why that athletic readiness, if everything's there. All right, she cut me off. I still haven't gotten through the first beat. Let her talk. Okay, go. Right? It's a very athletic moment. So let's keep listening.
Yes, I can. Yes, I took it off the market intentionally.
Oh, okay. And your name is?
Why?
I don't know why I asked you. I don't have her name. The lead was the Bava, and I was just curious to know what her name was.
Okay, 37 seconds in. Follow me? It's completely irrelevant now.
Okay.
And now it's like she's telling you she took it off intentionally, and you're saying, who are you? What would you do? I'd hang up, because now I'm starting to get annoyed, right? Follow me? Like this is really, again, I think the critique here is this is a very unathletic call. It's very unprepared. It's very disjointed. And that's why I always make a big, point on these calls. You have to stick to the structure of the call, or this happens. Now, the good news is, Karen, you've basically found out that the lady took it off intentionally. And we have in the mind map for training very, very specific responses to things like that, right? Oh, did your plans change? That's what should have been said there, right?
Right.
Oh, why? Did your plans change? Right? Because if they changed, what happened? Is it a long way? Because I want to get you this package of information. This call is about you. It's about getting you some information. So if you come back on, you have something that will help you sell it. So let's see where she goes.
Oh, well, actually, I'm not going to provide that.
See?
Because it's not listed under a name.
See?
Okay.
See, like we just created a problem we didn't need. And she's got it under something. She's got it under some other thing for privacy. So, privacy, obviously, from the call before, is an issue. And this is why we have to be super sensitive to what we're saying and how we're saying it. So they hear us, that we are not just some cold caller interrupting their life, trying to take something from them. This is about giving. And you have to learn how to give effectively, right? That's all it is. So this is ineffective in its giving tone. I'll leave it at that. Let's see where she goes.
So,
Okay. All right. Are you planning on putting it back on the market anytime soon?
maybe in a year. I think it was just a crazy market.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there and move on to the next one because it got stuck on me again. But you get the point, Karen. It's just, you get here's the great news. You still get there, and she's not really motivated and she's kind of private, but I think you could have done a better job being athletically ready and gotten to the point where it would have just felt so much more naturally. I mean, it's disjointed. You tell me what you hear. Tell me what you heard. If you could do it again, what would you change?
I wouldn't have asked her name because it was obvious she wanted to be private about it, and that's fine. And I didn't need to know her name.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have just went on and asked her if she's planning on selling it in the future or whatever.
Okay. Make it more personal, right?
Right.
Oh, did your plans change? Yes. So what do you think? Maybe you won't sell it at all? You know what I mean? Just make it more personal. I know what you want to do, but the reason for hiring the types of people that all the mastermind members are hiring is because we believe in you. We believe in your authenticity to be human in this moment, right?
Right.
This is a little bit more, it is scripted if you want to learn how to handle the objections, but I want Karen here, right? I want Karen who cares about this lady and what happened. I want to hear that next. We're starting to get into the intuitive artsy moment of a sales call, right? A telemark, and it's not a sales call because there's nothing to sell. It's a telemarketing call that says, I'd like to market this free information to you that helps to plan, right? So let's get back connected to where are you here? That's what I want you to ask yourself when you listen to these calls. Where am I? Is that how you would talk to somebody that you love, right?
Right.
And so try to get there. Don't get too casual on me. The structure is there for a reason. It's professional. So you stay there, but say, oh, really? Did your plans change? Well, they did. A crazy market. And, oh, great. Why are we trying to sell it in the first place? Sounds like a great house. Sounds like something you like. You know what I mean? We have that all structured, right?
Right.
Stay to it. Here we go. Next one.
Hello.
Good evening, Kathleen.
No, this is not Kathleen.
Is Kathleen or John available?
No, Kathleen and John are not available because they don't live here.
Oh,
They live
do you
in
know?
Texas. They live in Texas, and this is California.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to have a
I'm
number for
sorry.
them?
I'm sorry I can't help you. No, I don't give out their phone numbers to anybody.
Do you know if they're still selling their property at 5327?
No, they're not.
All right, this is the same one. She's not going to do it. So we've run into some privacy things here. So whatever data it is, you know that that's not the number. Cross it off your list. Go to Fast People Search and look in Dallas, Texas, and see if you can find their number, period.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't waste your time, right? Get used to saying, I mean, I get it. But the minute she says, and I don't give out their number to anybody, darling, and no, she's putting you off. End it. You don't need to go through this with this lady. And if you understand that there are other public domain and resources like Fast People Search, you can look them up and find them, right?
Right.
Cool. Okay. Alan, you want to add anything to those 3 calls?
No, I mean, I think this the same thing we said last week, fastpeoplesearch.com, because I think the other numbers that are on that lead are the husband and the wife. And this just happens to be that towards the bottom of the list, which is not, it could be sometimes a previous owner, it could be a relative. Just delete it off the call, like you said, off the lead, so it doesn't get pulled back into the dialer, and move on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think it's getting used to that. I mean, Karen's trying to be tenacious to, bring everything to a conclusion, which is laudable. Right. We applaud the effort. It's just that we now have to learn about efficiencies of the use of time.
We are seeing, and I get her frustration, but that's part of the process, is we are seeing these LLCs and there's no ownership name.
Yeah.
It's, it's the Bobbitt LLC. So,
when I get an LLC, I look it up on Google and I find the main person and I call them.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing. We have a local county clerk office online, and you can easily look up businesses to see if they're legit, and they usually display the member names, you guys. So
right.
if you want to investigate that, yeah, it gives all the names.
Yep. Which is interesting. Thank you both, Autumn and Allison, for the resource. I think what's interesting is I'm listening to you all about LLCs in that Alan's seeing them. It's interesting that they're the ones expiring if you're seeing them on a regular basis. I mean, there can be multiple reasons for it.
They're investors.
Yes.
That seem to be the ones
yes.
that are having the most difficult time selling their property.
Yes.
Because they probably have too much in them, and that they didn't want to listen to the agent, and they're expiring.
And too many people making decisions. And too many push and pull issues.
Thank you. Thank you. You all beat me to what I was going to say. So your intuition is correct. Well, no, it's good. No, it's good.
And can I just ask one thing? Has Karen actually gone to Fast People Search? Has she been in that site?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure you're familiar with it.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
So now you know the tuba player, right? Fast People Search is the tuba player, right? So get over there, right? Orchestrate all these things as time goes on. And like I said, Karen, I make a big deal of this sense of being athletically ready. wherever we go to work. I mean, that's why every time I do a broadcast call like this, I'm sitting in a basement of a building that I own, and the studio, nobody's down here but me. The studio is set up very particularly ready to go. So I am athletically ready, sitting in this chair ready, right? There has to be a place that when there's focused work like this, we have to be ready. Everything, you always see me reach forward. I grab the packages, I hold them up. If I needed the whiteboard, it's right there. I would drag it in, so that's it. It's really important every time to have something that resets. When you sit down in the seat and you do something that like gets you ready, and you're just ready. My script is here, my script is there. All right, it's go time. Right. And I think that will have fast people searches up so that, okay, wrong number. Good. Okay. Sorry. Have a nice night. Boom. Next. Who cares what she said? You might not want to give him up, but I'm going to find him. Right. And that's what hungry and resourceful is. Right. LLC. Okay. Let me take a quick look over here on the, county clerk, or I'll Google it up. The principal is, let me use the word Jimmy. Right. Hi, is Jimmy there? No, he's not. Who's calling? Hi, this is Danny Griffin from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is I saw that the Braga LLC, which Jimmy is the principal of, was trying to sell this beautiful property at 123 Main Street, and I noticed it didn't sell. So I'd like to send the LLC in directly to Jimmy, if he's the right person, some information that will help him sell it the next time. You follow me?
Right.
It's just, I can just take them and put them right into my box. I'm not going to let the tail wag the dog, which, by the way, is, you have to practice this. So all of these aberrations, like we train, we would love it to fall right in place. And it does oftentimes, like the elderly gentleman that Carla sends one over. He falls in as much as it was slow and methodical. She matches it, but she puts him right into the questions where he belongs. She gets an answer that he turns around because she asks the right questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, well, wonderful. Well, let me get Jeanette out there to give you some insights on how to get it done. Boom. Well, honey, when will you be here? Boom. You can hear it. You can hear the rhythm, right? The rhythm just happens. Even if the rhythm slows down, still a rhythm. And sometimes it's really, whoa, wait a minute. No problem. I didn't mean to insult you. You're in the public domain, but if you don't want the information, no problem. Is that right? Let me just confirm. You don't want the free information that would help you sell it the next time. There's no obligation. Is it a no? Great. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Right? And move.
Ooh, Danny, you're getting a little passive aggressive there. I would never say that. I would simply just say thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah. Well, whatever you call it, I need her to come to a conclusion that she's not the problem. You have the green light already from me because you know what I'm looking for. You know what you're looking for. She doesn't have that experience to make that call like that yet. She needs to just make sure she's good at not getting steamrolled by somebody over some simple thing like you're in the public domain, because she could flip them. Because a lot of these people, Autumn, as you full well know, that in several of our own clients right now, they wouldn't listen to the agent because the agent was milk toast, right? How many of those have you found where where you leaned in when the dog was biting, right? And you got the stuff out and then you broke them like a horse, right? I know that that's possible.
They asked her, how did she get the information? I told her to say our research department has that information. And we just wanted to send you some free information to help you sell your home. May we do that? Just to say where we got
that's good too. That's good too.
Yeah, that's good, Alan.
I like that too. I like it too. I think something like that is good. All right, let's move on because this is good. We're having a good call and I want to keep this momentum. Good feedback from everybody here today too. Sarah Corey. I have SV. All right. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. Here we go.
Good afternoon, Sarah speaking.
Oh, hi. I'm just calling you back. Someone called me.
Yes, who am I speaking with?
Felicia Martinez.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Thank you.
I'm not thrilled with this pregnant pause, right? I'm not thrilled with it. There's got to be something better to be able to say here, SV, than, sure, give me 1 second. Right?
No, I know that. I realize that. Yeah.
Because it's just
go into the pitch and you can look for her while you're doing it.
Yeah. Let's listen to how long it takes. Let's see.
Yes, Felicia.
Oh, hang on. Now I got stuck. Hang on. Let me get it back. It's these.
Otherwise, it's a little bit too much like a bill collector trying to look up an account.
Sarah from Remax Metro City. I got your contact info. Yeah, we had chatted just last month. Just to kind of see what your plans are going to be. I know that at the time you were just kind of feeling things out and.
Yes. Well, yeah, not much has changed. I mean, I guess because of like the whole situation right now, what's going on, it makes things really difficult.
Okay.
We do, because like at our home, I do have some things that I do want to, fix up, renovate before taking the next step. And it seems like right now, these little projects are really difficult to come to.
Oh, got stuck again. Shoot.
So this should be a very short conversation. When's a good time to get back in touch with you?
Yeah. Hold on. I don't know if I completely agree yet. I hear you. I want to see what she says about these renovations, because it's an opportunity to get somebody in the door to coach them on the renovation. She might have a perception that renovations need to be done that don't. So let's just see where it goes.
Difficult to even start.
Okay. Yeah. And what did you have in mind for projects?
Good.
Oh, just some like backyard space, like, doing some renos in the back. And, there's things inside the home that I also need to, of course, either update or, just.
Now, are you planning to do this work because you guys want to stay, or you're looking to put a little money in to update it?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, it's something like, I want to do it because, first of all, it's for aesthetic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if going forward, then we do want to sell, or we don't sell, like then I'm in the house and at least it's done. You know what I mean? Like,
got it. I mean, at this point, it sounds like you do have a lot of things that you want to complete before even getting that ball rolling. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're ready to go, where would you place yourself on that scale in terms of being ready to make a move?
Oh, right now, not.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Something.
That's fair, and I get it. I mean, when you have a list of things that you want to complete first, it's hard to kind of think past that part. But I can always just check in with you later this summer just to kind of see where you're.
All right, let's stop. Good, but even a better question is, why would you move at all? I like where you were going with. Were you thinking about doing this because you want to stay? I like where you were going. Just ask the question, Sarah. You can save yourself so much time. I feel what Autumn was feeling, which was like, well, okay. She was sensitive.
Well, I knew it. I could tell immediately that it was a no-go.
Yeah. There's an intuitive sense that, and you do too, SV. There's no way, after all your experience, you don't know that this is a low probability. But my concern that I've heard is that, in Sarah Corey, I think this matters in the training. She gets there, but this is 2 minutes and 36 seconds to get there. For just why? Why, if you were going to sell it, why would you sell it to begin with? Boom, just get there, SV, right? Just get there. You already, and by the way, this lady's calling you back. Is this an initial call? No, it's a follow-up call. How many follow-up calls have you had with this lady since the initial one? And what triggered the initial call, by the way?
It was a bold lead, so it was to find out the value. So I sent her a package. At the time, our first conversation, it was more, I would be highly motivated once I get a better idea of what I could potentially sell for. And that was, so that was my second follow-up call.
Okay. So again, great, because the bold lead asks for an evaluation. Well, what I'm going to send you is a fistful of properties that sold around you. And I'll give you a copy of our plan so that putting those together, you can begin to get an idea what it would take. But of course, to really tell you what the property is worth, we would need to have somebody come out. Right? So,
Yeah.
so now she says, well, I'm not quite ready for that. Well, wonderful. Let me send you the information. I'll call you next week to make sure you got it, or I'll call you tomorrow to make sure you got it if it's digital, because you have so many of those. Okay. So whatever, because it can be a very whimsical lead source, as we've talked about in the past. So now out goes this information. You call back, she calls you. Hey, it's Sarah. I just want to make sure that you got the information that I sent you regarding the properties that sold around you. And I don't hear any reference to that, right? There's no, so to me, the reconnect is flimsy. And we talked about this in the mastermind yesterday for a long time. It's very, very important to understand that the information that's going to them is what you're calling back about, trying to walk the ladder on the steps of that information. Hey, you had this inquiry about what it might be worth, because you were thinking about maybe if you could get a good number, you'd sell. Boom, I sent you the starter package of information that shows you what's sold with pictures and details. Did you get it? And boom, I sent you a plan so that should you, assume that you're going to sell it inside the next 6 months or so, there's a plan to get started. Did you get that information? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Right? Well, I can resend it. Hey, by the way, while I have you, if you were going to make a move, why? Why were you thinking about doing it at all? It's not a takeaway. It's just a legitimate question. Why? Now you have the qualitative reason why this lady took the time to go online, start messing with it. But the reason I said to Autumn, it's not a push off. I don't hear any conclusion here. I don't want a database of I'll call you later, or nor do I want the too quick shuffle them off to Buffalo, because sometimes they are serious about selling, but the SC personality types can ruminate over that. They can wallow in their fear. The high I's and D's cut. Nope, I took it off, said that lady who was an investor. No, I took it off. Market's crazy. I didn't like what it, right? That's what the high I's and D's sound like. This is what the SCs sound like, just like this lady, right? So what you do with an SC is just put it on them. Stop all the rambling by just saying, by the way, sounds like you like the house. Because you started to do that. You just have the wrong way of doing it because you stretch it out. It's too long. Why are you thinking about selling it? I like that you go to the 1 to 10, but your brain is not trained to ask why, then clarify with the 1 to 10. The 1 to 10 in my mind's eye, as I've learned this more and more, is a qualifier about the why, meaning it helps us gain a sense of timing. See, we want to ask everyone. We went through this with Tony Legendre yesterday. We want to ask everybody, well, when are you thinking about it? And they're going to say to us, July 4th at 12:30 in the afternoon, I'd like to sell it. Like, that's the delusion that we have that's going to come back to us, is that level of specificity. When the truth is, you find these people trying to make these major decisions, especially sellers. They're trying to make a major decision about when they would like to sell a house that they might be in love with, that they might have raised their kids with, that somebody might have passed in. There's so much going on we don't know yet. So if we can get to the why and they can have that cathartic moment, meaning that's going to come out of them, then you can help them qualify. Well, gee, that's a pretty big reason to sell. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you? Well, I'm a 4. Well, why so low? Not the giggles and, not that. Gee, why so low? You see what I'm saying, Sarah? You're just missing some tools that you have. Why? What level? And why so low? Is there something we could do? Could I send an agent out to coach you through it? Because you might not have to do all these things to get done what you want. And while they're there, they'll take those comps and they'll refine them for you and give you a better idea of what it probably would sell for and what you'd walk away with. That's just missed here, right? You follow?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny. When I was listening to the call right before I sent it, I caught that part and I was like, oh, I missed that big part, which is what we've been really trying to evolve our calls to just get that why.
You got to get that why.
Yeah.
Because when we get that why, we can be so much more specifically resourceful to this person, right? I mean, because if it's a why and there's no reason, then I am with Autumn. Get rid of it. Mark it for delete contact. I don't want you pursuing, especially a bold lead, which, by the way, if you all don't know what a bold lead is an online home evaluation. It can be loaded with crappy, whimsical inquiries about a home value. Okay. So she has to move swiftly in the first calls through those. why we, hey, you have to give them something. You have to fulfill. If you're going to make an offer, wonderful. Saw that you wanted to know the evaluation of this property. I wanted to just, again, this is where email is acceptable in lead generation. When it's that whimsical, no way am I going to suggest that any of my mastermind members are wasting time, money, and energy to mail a real package like you would to an expired. It's not the same kind of lead source. So I do believe a script for a very whimsical inquiry, potentially, because there is some gold in there, potentially could be emailed. Wonderful. I'll call you tomorrow to make sure that you get it in your email. Okay? Period. So now she comes back in, but we're still where we leave off in the formula. Or she could do it in the first day. She said, wonderful. I'll call you tomorrow to make sure you got it. Hey, by the way, while I have you, why were you looking for a home evaluation? Were you thinking about selling the property? Yes, I was. Really? Why? Well, that's a pretty big reason. Or if it's not a big reason, just say, oh, really? On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you? I'm a 3. How come so low? Right? Well, because I don't really want to sell it. My husband kind of think. Now it's like, okay, this is squishy. See you later. I don't have time for this, right? Great, wonderful. Enjoy that. You know who we are now. And if something changes when you get a little bit more serious, we'd love to help. We just don't want to bother you in the meantime. And it ends it. Right? So you've been of service. You gave them what they inquired about. It's super early. Unless you have a kick-ass long-term follow-up system, there is no room in your database for that, because that will give your database indigestion. It will bloat you, right? So be careful of that. But Sarah, the bottom line is this is nowhere near as structured as it could be. Get back to walk that stairway up those questions to an appointment, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Let's go. Jada could not hide this week, Sarah Corey. She could not hide. She could not hide. There she is. You ready?
She did. She sent me like 5. You're ready.
Jada, I guilted you into this Friday, didn't I? All right, here we go. Let's listen to this one I have from you.
Hello.
Hello, Susan. It's Jada calling you back from Metro City Property Group with Remax. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I was simply just calling, Susan, just to make sure that you did receive the information I sent you, the market analysis for your home.
I did.
Perfect. And what'd you think of it?
That's pretty good.
Good. Saw some fun numbers up there?
Yeah.
Excellent. I love that response. And in terms of, did it spice anything up, trigger anything for you to be thinking about making some moves, or how did you feel?
No, it didn't. Not that, the numbers weren't great, but just not there yet.
Not there yet. No, that's
no.
The market is triggering a lot of curiosity right now, but it definitely gets the ball rolling for some people to.
All right, stop. It's easy. Same critique, isn't it?
Yes.
Same thing. I mean, you have her. She's pleasant as can be. You're pleasant as can be. We just don't have where's the weapon? I gave you an arrow. Fire it. Why were you thinking about selling it to begin with? It's just right there for the taking, right? And then, wow, that's interesting. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated do you think you'd be in the next 12 months? And you're done, right? And it's a super clean, concise conclusion that nobody could ever harshly judge you on if you're clear, right?
Right.
Let's listen to the rest of it.
To start thinking about something. So that's all I wanted to check in with.
Well, we keep getting these things to stop. Hang on one second. I'm going to do it one more time, see if I can I want to hear that ending.
The numbers weren't great, but just not there yet.
Not there yet. No, that's
no.
The market is triggering a lot of curiosity right now, but it definitely gets the ball rolling for some people to start thinking about something. So that's all I wanted to check in with. Is it okay if I touch base with you in a couple months, just see where your head's at, and if you need any more information?
Okay, there's a perfect example of a bloated database, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. And again, not to beat you up, to make you aware that because you didn't fire the 2 arrows that you had at your disposal, you have to build a book of business based on hope, based on guessing, based on nebulous or cloudy relationship. Why? If there's no need for that, right? When you have questions that you can act that will give specificity to motivation and timing and reason, all the things we so desperately want, this just ends up being another missed opportunity. And if she says yes, it's because we're in Canada and everybody's so nice to each other that all we do is sit there and pat each other in the back. Isn't this great? And 4 years later, nothing's happened, right?
Yeah, I guess it's really hard to, we just need to stick to that, like you say, that plan of the high motivation. I guess we have trouble pulling that trigger and letting somebody
why? And why? That's a fair statement, because now it's the psychological on our side. And you hear it every week here, Jada, and you hear it in sales training. If you listen to the Griffin Realty Group, by the way, all you team leaders, I accidentally shared the Griffin training from this week into the Elite Mastermind. I think it's worth you hearing me coach and train my own brokerage agents, mostly outside sales agents, about the same stuff. Is that there's some sort of a worry that by asking direct questions, we're insulting somebody, right? And that's where I have an issue with what am I helping develop here? I'm trying to develop leaders and leadership, right? That's what this is. We always say the little quip here that sellers and buyers are silently begging to be led. And so this is not leadership sounding, right? It's just not. And so you want to be bold enough and direct enough to lead. Don't be afraid, right? Don't be. And because what happens is when you pull back like this, you actually don't serve her as well as you could. So it's weak leadership, right? Hey, wonderful. And again, what's interesting is, why did you look at the value of your property? Were you thinking about selling it? Right? You can even ask that in the first call. We don't even need to go through all this, because see, here's what we're doing. We're taking the accordion of time. This is a time management issue. And it's a pandemic in the industry in many ways. One, when we have telemarketing staff and CRMs and whatnot, we bloat the heck out of the database. And now we're calling into this just batch of things. And the team leaders are screaming, we want more appointments. But yet nobody looks at the quality of the lead. Nobody looks at the quality of the words of the script, the initial script. Nobody looks at the quality of the information sent out. Nobody looks at the quality of the follow-up call. Nobody looks at the quality of the decision tree on how we follow up and who gets deleted. I do, right?
May I say something,
You may,
Danny?
of course.
Because I'm very curious as to what you'll say in response to this, just because you said, why didn't I ask, why were you looking for the evaluation or whatnot? So my notes from the first call, just to give you the full picture and to see exactly how you would proceed with this.
Sure. My
notes from the first call was that she had said she was just curious for now. And then as she opened up, she said her and her husband are close to retirement. They're thinking about buying converting into a bungalow later on. But it's not in the current plans. So having said that,
yes.
How would you proceed with that call?
Oh, that's a great piece of meat that you just gave me to work with, right?
Right.
Retirement. Really? When do you think you'll retire? The same thing, right? I have the why. You gave it to me. That's why you did it. I was thinking about retiring. It never comes up in this call. Why not?
I guess I thought that I had basically covered it in the first one. I didn't want to be repetitive or seem like I
that's you. That's you. Now you're the now you're the problem. See, that's exactly what we say. I feel when you say those things, you enter the danger zone. Right. When it's a formulaic approach, you are reminding her why she did this in the first place. Exactly. That's leadership. It's precisely what I'm saying. You're the leader here. I feel. Say, go ahead, Gail. Come on, Gail.
Well, you need to remind them every time.
Every time.
You just need to reframe it.
Gail? Okay. Gail, don't we remind them all the way to the closing table?
Yes, to the end.
Oh my gosh, to the end, Jada. I take them to, I have clients right.
I have a thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes when people are so nice, they feel like they're imposing on these nice people on why are you selling, instead of trying to talk around that. I mean, in my younger days, I felt like that too. I felt like, oh, if I said, why are you selling? I'm asking them something, very intimate.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It's a logical way, but you've got to change it in your mind.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, Jada, this is all about them. And that's her context. So remind her context. I mean, if a day goes by, remind them. If an hour goes by, remind them. Hey, we were talking an hour ago and you said it wasn't a good time, but we did get as far as you were mentioning. You and your husband were close to retirement. Is that right? Yes, we're getting, really? How close are you? Well, we're about, I don't know, 24 months out. Okay. And you want to downsize? Is that what you told me before? Yes. We want to go down to a bungalow. Wonderful. Is your plan to wait until you retire to move? Or would you like to do it now before you retire?
I see.
Follow?
Yep, absolutely.
Just walk her down the tree. But I'm leading her I'm leading her actually through a path in her mind that is not clear to her. This is what I keep saying. You're going up into their world. See, all these crappy things in training, buyers are liars and all this ridiculous, pathetic stuff that you get jaded by, no pun intended, Jada, right? But you get jaded by all that nonsense that's out there being trained. Buyers are liars and she was lying to me. No, she wasn't. Do you know how difficult it is to try to figure out the timing when you finally decide that you're going to buy or sell a house? It is this massive financial and emotional transaction. Even the smartest people you've ever met in the world can have a meltdown over this. So our job is to go there with guidance. And you're so early in the guidance piece of it, but it could be life or death. I mean, they might never move because they're locked in fear if somebody doesn't come along and make it happen. You know how many times I've had clients tell me, I would have never been able to do this without you and your team. Never. If Autumn hadn't called, if Laura hadn't showed me this, if we hear it, if this hadn't happened, that's validation of the leadership. That's why we're good at what we do. Because we're bold enough to say, and when we say it gently too, Gail's right. I mean, we're seasoned veterans, but I might coach you a little bit aggressively, but if you've never seen me in a room or heard me in a real room, you have no idea how softly I can talk, how little I'll talk. Laura went out in a listing presentation with me. She said, I don't even know who that was, right? She said, you barely said anything, but the minute you knew it was important to him, you went right to it. Right? On the pinwheel. And so the idea is you can still be nice, but if you don't lead, somebody else will. If you don't lead, somebody else will, or worse, nobody will, and they'll never pull it off. Follow? That's a pretty big reason for you to be really good at getting in there and guiding her through her own decision tree, right?
Right.
I mean, this is such a good call to be able to dig in with you and SV. Sarah Corey, you need to hear this. It's a lack of structure. The training on this is not there. The scripting is not being adhered to their benefit. So if anybody else comes in, new or Dave or anybody, we've got to stay to it just goes to show you how seasoned veterans like SV, Dave, and Jada, I know you're relatively newer to the business to them. Just get rid of these habits early. SV, go back to them. Just trust it, right? It's not just about slowing down the words, SV. It's about slowing down the process. Where am I at with this lady? Am I guiding her with the questions that I have available? And even if it gets off into the poppy fields with Dorothy, bring it right back in, right? Wait, and then jump. Ladies, excellent calls to send me though. Excellent, because it's the same problem in both. Fixed just like that. Be disciplined. And the more disciplined you are, the more habitual it will become. And when you look at like how long it takes you to get the answer, do you know how much more productive you could be? Do you know how much easier your day would be? Jada, when you listen to your call, you start to ramble, right? Because you're trying to stay connected. You're rambling. Like literally, listen, we'll do it one more time. I want you to hear. You'll start to ramble saying things that don't really mean anything, right? Where you could be, look at, Zig Ziglar had a fabulous line, okay? A fabulous line. Why be a wandering generality when you could be a meaningful specific? I'm going to say it again. Why be a wandering generality when you could be a meaningful specific? A meaningful specific sounds like, why were you thinking about selling it at all? Because of retirement. Really? When are you going to retire? Over the next couple of years? Really? On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated would you be to sell it this year in advance of retirement? Meaningful specifics, right? Versus, ready? Listen to this as it gets further down the line. Takes her a bit to pick up here, 21 seconds.
Hello.
Hello, Susan. It's Jada calling you back from Metro City Property Group with Remax. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. I was simply just calling, Susan, just to make sure that you did receive the information I sent you, the market analysis for your home.
I did.
All specific.
Perfect. And what'd you think of it?
General.
That's pretty good.
Good. Good. Saw some fun numbers up there.
General.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love that response. And in terms of, did it spice anything up,
General.
trigger anything for you to be thinking about making some moves, or how did you feel?
No, it didn't. Not that, the numbers weren't great, but just not there yet.
Not there yet. No, that's
no.
The market is triggering a lot of curiosity
Super
right now,
general.
but it definitely gets the ball rolling for some people to start thinking about something. So that's all I wanted to check in with. Is it okay if I touch base with you in a couple months, just see where your head's at, and if you
General.
need any more information regarding the value of your home, I'd be happy to assist again with that.
Okay, got it? Jada?
Yeah, I got it.
In the beginning, you're wonderfully specific. Here's who I am. Here's why I'm calling. Did you get it? At that point in time, it ends its meaningful specificity, and it gets wildly general, and it leaves you in a really wildly general place, right? And I didn't even know until you told me how much you actually knew that was specific up to this moment, and it never gets mentioned, right? So you go from a specific first call, specific delivery, specific follow-up, and boom, right off the cliff, right?
Right.
And I say right off the cliff, it's nice. There's platitudes. It's good service for the brand. She appreciates it. But 2 months? Why? What if she's not going to remotely think about selling this inside the next 12 months? Why is she in there for a follow-up call in 2 months? What are you going to do then? And if it's more of this, then the can gets kicked again. The can gets kicked again. And for telemarketers that are just bloating the database with those phone calls, can you imagine how much unproductive outbound calling you're doing? It's tremendous amounts of fat when it could be. Yep. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. So it could be trimmed down to so fewer names where that you're like, oh, I remember Sally. Sally was retired, right? So now you get more enthusiastic about your follow-up calls to prospects because there's a real specificity in your brain, and you don't feel the burden of trying to get your energy up to be general, right? Follow me, Jada?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And it's the same thing for a pro like SV. You can hear SV gets there, but we still don't have a very specific or as specific an outcome as we really, really want as business owners. I want specificity. As soon as this call's over, I meet with Autumn, and we've been pushing our systems to try to get specificity so that I can see specific names, specific metrics, because I'm managing based on those specifics. I'm trying to figure out what my telemarketing staff needs from me to be more successful. And if I get all these generalities, I'm like, oh my gosh, where in the assembly line am I broken? I start to fret it as a manager, right? And then it starts to burden the telemarketing staff that they're calling into these nebulous things and they're not getting the specific packages out. They're not getting the specific appointments booked. They're not telling me that I need to get on a call to help tip it over. That we can't get those specific moments of success down the line if most of their day is spent trying to figure out the bloat that the system and they created. Okay, go ahead, Autumn.
Speaking of the bloat, I just don't go into how they felt about the brochure, which I know you said before, Danny. Basically, what I say is, you got the brochure. Okay, great.
Great.
Danny and I, once again, were wondering why your house didn't sell. And Danny asked me to ask you if he could have the nickel tour of the place. I'm wondering if you have any time on Friday at 3.
See how specific she is, Jada? Right? She's specific. She's specific because if somebody said yes to the package and presumably she has enough data, get me in, right? Get me in.
Now on that note, knowing that, I'm just like, the vetting process to send agents out. I would obviously hate to put somebody on an appointment, go out for the evaluation and show up, and this lovely Susan stand there and go, this is great, thanks for coming out. I did mention we're not planning on selling.
Well, Jada, you wouldn't book that one. So why are you imagining yourself booking that one? Because you would have known there was no motivation. You would have known. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't even have to get mad at Autumn for doing that, because you know why? She wouldn't send me on one she wasn't certain I could close. She thinks like me. We are closers. Once in a while, I go out and she wasn't able to pick up on something because the people throw some interference in the middle. But I told her, look, if you think you're close, let's play horseshoes and hand grenades. I'll go. I'm not that arrogant, Jada, where I won't go and say it's a waste of my time. If I can be of service and Autumn thinks it's close enough, I'm going. Okay. But you're like worried about, hey, screw the outside sales agents for the moment. Okay. I mean, really, you don't work for them. Okay. You give them appointments. And if you thought it was close enough and it was valuable, then you have some notes on it. Like, look, this might be a little bit early, but she's definitely going to move. Okay. You might be able to tip her inside of 12 months if you can show her where she's going to go and you can show her the math. That's specificity. Follow me? You're imagining yourself doing something nebulous because you did not as good of a job as you could have done. But if you had, you would have gotten a time frame. You'd have known the why. You'd have known that it was possible or not. If it wasn't, then you wouldn't send somebody.
Right.
So you're imagining sending somebody to a poor appointment based on a poor call that you did. Clean up your call first and watch how easy it is to not make that mistake of sending someone to a poor appointment. Got it? Okay, because what you heard Autumn do was just sort of cut to the chase with you. I'm explaining a little bit more. She knows how to get from somebody what's going on. So presumably in her first call, what she was reacting to just now was she's really good on the first one, right? Like she cuts to the chase on the first one. She knows the questions. Like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Looks beautiful. And she has this kind of Shakespearean actress way about her when she gets into it with people. It's very engaging. They reveal a lot to them. I mean, look, at Autumn will be the first to tell you there's plenty of jerks. Like, how'd you get my name? Screw you. We live in the Northeast. Everybody's angry and they don't know why, right?
Yeah, so these people don't make me money, so I get them off the phone.
Yep, exactly. All right. Maxie, I'm going to go a little OT because you did send me something here, Maxie. You there? I would rate this a good call and pace with her, but when she raised a concern, I wasn't concise. You want me to listen to that one, Lori?
Yeah, that's a meeting set, and you were also asking for a follow-up call.
Okay, good. Let me do them both.
Carlotta.
I'm going to do Carlotta first. Follow-up call. Let's listen.
Hello.
Hi, Carlotta.
Yes.
Good evening. This is Maxie with Wise Barth and Associates. I wanted to check out your progress with your home search in Seattle. Is there anything we could further help you with?
No, in fact, I'm not going to be buying until sometime between January and March of next year.
Oh, okay. Well, what has changed?
Excellent.
That's just my decision.
I see. All right. When the time is right, would love to help. When might be a good time for us to follow up so we could update you with listings as well?
sometime in January to March of next year.
Okay, we'll just do that then. Thank you so much for the
Thank
update.
you.
All right, not bad. I mean, I don't think it's bad. I think you cut to the chase. I think you just showed everybody what it sounds like to cut to the chase, right? And get a real answer. And we find this funny theme of privacy today, you know? I mean, I think maybe had you asked her, oh, did your plans change? I think if you could, there's a couple things in here. You sound a little bit more like the machine this week versus the past couple of weeks. Just be careful of snapping back into that machine-like sound, right?
Yep.
And the same critique that I gave earlier today, remind them of the context, right? Hey, Carlotta, this is Maxie calling from Wise Barth and Associates. When we talked the last time, I had set you up on our website to get the certain properties in such and such a range. And I just want to make sure that they were still coming in the way that you wanted. You could have been better there. Okay. So what I would say is try to reiterate the same tone that you would have when you first get them and they came into the website. Okay. I just thought it was just too short, too quick, not of service. It sounds, it didn't warm it up. I'm not saying it would have changed it. It might have changed one thing, why she changed her mind, right? And again, if you could find out why she was looking in the first time, you'd reference that. The last time we talked, I helped you get set up on our website to look for properties in Seattle for 3-bedroom homes, 550 to 600, because you referenced that you think you'd be moving inside the next 12 months. Follow me? Right? So now, if you just reiterate all that context, it's how you guys are connected. This is why it's kind of weird that nobody's going back to that. That's, hey, it's me. I know you live a busy life and you probably don't even remember who the heck we are or what we're all about, but this is our context together. And here I am again. The more you remind them of the context you already share, the better chance you have of making further progress. Got it? It wouldn't change her timing, Maxie, but she might give you a better idea. Now, she did say a specific time to call back. Now, my only question to you is she in sync receiving properties? Is that where she's at?
Yes.
Okay. So I think she's probably a valid, viable long-term follow-up. I'm okay with that.
I also have a question about, like, when should I follow up? She said next year. I plan to follow up with her in 4 months, just to check back.
Well, if you do, let me go back to this because I've talked about this a lot over the last 7 days. Okay. What better be happening is that this lady, and should be, because she is actually a viable, it sounds like, I don't know the why. I wish I knew the why, but she's a viable persona. Let me see if I can open this without blowing up the call. I apologize if I blow up the call and my computer freezes because I want to open up Xmind, which is a heavy software that will require some of my RAM.
Question?
Yeah, go.
About this, when you cut to the chase, can you insert the newsletter in there? We'd be happy to keep you apprised of what's going on in the market while you're waiting.
You're jumping the gun on me. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You've done that. You're reading my mind for the second time today. Thank you.
No.
Thank you. That means we're making progress, right? Doctor and patient are making progress. Thank you. I love you today.
That's great.
You're on a roll.
Great.
No,
That's
you're
great.
I have.
Well, I've been training all week, Dave.
We have this, this automaton brain is at the management level. I'm hearing it.
God.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. I have Margaret on. Hello, everyone. This is my new telemarketer, Margaret. She's on today.
Margaret, whoop, whoop.
Hi, Margaret.
All right.
Danny, I'm sorry.
No, go on. Go on.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, Danny, I just want to say something, and this is a little off the cuff, so I want you guys to just put it in your back pocket because it's not super relevant. I just want to say that we need to do the thinking for them. They need to follow our agenda, and they.
Oh, shoot. Just when she was making a great point, she cuts out. She's making an excellent point here. Okay, we wait for her internet to cut back in here. That's an excellent point, right? Because it's a better way to iterate what I was just saying to you. Go ahead, Autumn, you're back.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, the only problem I had with Carla's conversation was that she let this poor little man try to fend for himself, trying to decide a time. He had to look at his whole life and try to figure out a time where she could have, and she did eventually offer him a time.
Yeah.
Like 3 o'clock on Friday. But the point I'm making is we have to think for.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. All right. Her internet's spotty, but she's right. We have to think for them is right. And the way that you think for them, JADA, SV especially, is that you follow the yellow brick system. That helps us all do the thinking and charts the course for them to follow. That's what it does. Allison, to the point there, Maxie, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is what we just killed ourselves working on at the mastermind level. Okay. So we have this telemarketing client care launches the follow-up plan. Okay. This is what we did. Number one, we want the plan to include a scheduled follow-up set of reminders. In a perfect world, there are choices. In my world, there are choices. Autumn can select weekly, daily reminder, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly. Okay. But the plan includes, thank you, Allison. The plan includes monthly digital market update version of the newsletter. The plan includes weekly digital seller buyer tip series that are gleaned from the plans. Client Care Manager adds them to the MLS property updates. In our case, we would add them there automatically. You upsell that, so a little bit different for you, but they're on sync. So they're getting those. So they would continue to get those, right? And if I thought it was viable that this lady was going to buy, I would make sure that she was mailed a physical package. If you had a real why that this lady was going to move, and again, I don't know what happened in the first call. You lost it in the second call because you were too black and white. You weren't personal. She wouldn't open up to you. She clammed up. Okay. But in a world-class follow-up system, it's actually those tiers that play themselves out together so that when you go to call her, Maxie, down the line in 4 months, because you say, Danny, today it's May. And she's going to be ready in January. So I want to make sure the newsletter, what's happening in the market's going out, the updates of what's selling in the criteria she wants are going out, and that there's a tip series for buying that's going out. So that when you call Maxie in whatever frequency you intuit is the right frequency, what are you talking about, Maxie? Tell me what you're talking about. You're talking about the market update. You're talking about, properties that sold and the tip series. And if nothing else, you're just talking about the market. That's the easiest thing. One talking point about the market, right? But you have to be able to talk about something that's relevant to them if you're going to follow up long term. It's these things that need to be helping you. In your case, you could go straight to the sync plan. And you call her in 2 months and say, hey, I see you're still getting these properties. And I just want to make sure they were coming through. It's just me again, just touching base. And we've been sending you out. We put you on our newsletter so you can stay abreast of the market. Boom, boom, boom. Get in and out. Right? And I assume your plans are still the same in January. Yep. Good. See you then. Follow? And then you're done. It's a touch. It's a touch. But all the while, the digital is supporting you because you have this huge gap in time for 2 months, 3 months, where the digital information is at least going out. Follow me? Okay? So something has to happen because that's what you're going to talk about when you call. So you better have something to talk about. All right, let's go to, where's my stuff? I just lost my stuff. Here we go. All right, I have Lori. Here we go.
Hello?
Hi, Lori.
Excuse me?
Hi, is this Lori?
Yes, this is Lori. Is this Maxie?
Yeah, this is Maxie Advice Barth and Associates. Is this a good time?
Ooh.
Yeah, this is.
Why? Why?
Question there.
Oh, it's so painful. Why? Why is we had a sales guy that used to sit in the back of the office and he said it every single time. It was the worst line I've ever heard on phone sales. Is this a good time? Let them tell you it's not a good time. or hear the kids screaming and them fumbling before you say that. It's such a strange thing to say when you're making an outbound call to somebody and you're trying to lead them. And like Autumn was saying, like you basically, this is your agenda. Is this a good time? Yes, it's a good time because I called you after all these calls I made and you picked up. It's a good time, Maxie. Okay? Get rid of that word whisker.
Right. So you registered last night at our property search website, SeattleHomeBuyersGuide.com, and I wanted to check if you're receiving the right listings. You put in here Seattle as your area of choice. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. And what is your?
I'm from California, so I don't know a lot about. I just know that I looked at Portland condos and stuff, but their taxes were quite high and their homeowner dues were quite high. So it looked like Washington. I mean, even though they're a little higher priced, their other stuff was lower. So okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we
So
can.
I'm not familiar with any. I mean, there might be in other cities or whatever. I don't know.
Sure, we can help with that. Be happy to connect you with my partner who could help you out with the areas around Seattle. You put in here $357,000 is your maximum price point. Is that correct?
325.
You put in here 357. Should it be 325?
Oh, I meant 325. Yeah.
325, and this is for a condo. Is that right?
Condo, yes. Or yeah.
So from California, why were you looking at making a move to Washington?
Good.
Well, I am retired, and I'm living in Northern California right now, about an hour north of San Francisco, in kind of a smaller town area called Santa Rosa. And I am blind. Well, I'm not 100% blind, but I can't drive or anything like that. And I thought it might be good for me to like live in a city where I don't have to take an Uber everywhere. That maybe I could walk out my door, walk a block or so, and get a cup of coffee, get lunch. Here where I live now, that's not possible.
Okay.
So I was thinking that might be something. And I know San Francisco, I think their prices, I think they're maybe higher. Yeah, I'm not used to a big city, so I don't know. I don't know if Seattle is probably as big as San Francisco, right?
I'm really not the expert, Lori, at that,
okay.
But same thing here with me. But tell you what, I'd really be happy to connect you with someone who's local, who's an expert. Could really give you insights as well on which areas might be a good place to retire.
Well, I'm thinking Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, okay. And I know there's stuff in my price range. Yeah, I'm pretty much thinking Seattle.
Okay, grab her here.
And I'd like to share too that there may not be that many condos at 325K.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Unless Duran has given you specific instructions to do this. Has he?
He did.
Okay. What did he say?
It's a lower price point.
Okay, what did he say?
If it's a lower price point, we could tell them there may not be that many in that price point.
Okay. All right, good. I just want to make sure it was his decision. So, because it's true, right? What can you get a condo for these days in Seattle?
It's not impossible to get like 325, but it could be hard.
Okay.
At least, I guess, I would say like 400, 375.
Right. Okay, let's see where this goes, because that's not that far off. Right. So let me hear where this goes.
In the greater.
Yeah, shoot. I'll try to fix it, and if I can't, you can tell me what happens here. Okay. Well, why don't you just tell me what happens? Let's critique it from there. Okay. I mean, she's a sweet lady. You're really sweet with her, but I'm going to go back to the theme that we have going on here today. Somewhere along the line, you got to grab the bull by the horns.
Okay. I wasn't I'd like to be honest. I was really hesitant in setting up the meeting. But when I asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you into moving? She said, very motivated. So I went on with the offer, set up the meeting for this afternoon at 2 p.m.
Okay.
I passed it on to Duran first to check his insight. Then he said, go ahead and assign it to one of our OSAs.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Just be careful. Don't talk yourself out of appointments. I mean, if it's close, your job is to book the appointment.
Yeah.
And I just said this to Jada, the same thing today. Don't overthink this. Book the appointment if it's close. This is horseshoes and hand grenades. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to be able to be perfect over the phone, right? But if you feel like you have a 90% or above grade, you better book it. And 85% above, I'd still go for it, right? Yeah, it's good. It's just a little bit long. It takes you a while, to close her, but you ask why, and I loved it. You come back to it after all the talking that she does because she's sweet, she's gentle, she legitimately needs help. She's blind.
Yeah.
My gosh, how good does it get to be able to serve a lady who's mostly blind, find her way in a city she doesn't know? Come on, like, why were you thinking about moving from California, right? I mean, be a woman here with this woman, okay? Got it? Good.
Yeah, I get your point. But the other half of me really, the reason why I was hesitant is that, I also don't want to take much of our OSA's time.
Okay, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this again. Screw the OSAs. You do not work for them. You work for the team leader. The team leader gives you parameters. His consultant, Danny, gives you parameters. Stay within those and you get close enough. You let Duran reject it, but you finish it. Follow? You finish it. You all are taking human discretion back at your level. Let us reject it and say, good job, Autumn. Good job, Maxie. Good job. It's just not doable right now in this marketplace. Good job. Call her back and say, unfortunately, when I talked to, the owner, he just said, we just can't help you. Okay. Let us reject it back down the line. But if you're making these human discretion decisions back here, you're killing us. Don't do that. Right? Yeah. Autumn just said it in the message. Do your part and the broker will do theirs. Correct. Let us worry about the finite details. If you know that you've done what you're supposed to do, stop judging this. Stop making things up. Quite frankly, you're not qualified to do that. As you said to this lady, I didn't love that part either. Geez, I really don't know. Say, you know what? The person that will know the answers to that is my guy, my specialist. I'm going to get you set up with him right now. He'll be able to narrow this down. More certainty, ladies. More certainty. Right? More self-esteem, more self-efficacy, meaning capability. I want to hear it going into these weeks. I want to hear leaders, ladies. Okay? I want to hear leadership. I'm here to empower you, to get up under you, to say, lead, lead, lead. Okay? And if you stick to the formula, I will help you lead without getting your teeth knocked out. Got it? And plus, you won't look good without teeth. You good? All right. Listen, we went long today because you all gave me good, meaty stuff to work with. I love that. When you give me stuff to work with, we can make tremendous progress. That's why I don't mind going longer. I'm here for you, but I need you to lead. So I want to hear a better leadership voice next week from all of you. I would love everybody that participated today. I'd love the next call from next week where you say, I will lead, I will lead, I will lead. Touch your chest right there, right where your voice comes out. I will lead, I will lead, I will lead, and then make your calls. Okay? Good job, though.
That's good.
Bravo. Yep, very good today. Very good. All right, all.
Good job, Danny. Good job, Danny.
Carla,
Thank
thanks
you
so
for the
much.
seller plan. I got it.
Yeah,
the
go.
questionnaire.
Go.
I'm going to be using it.
I like it, Carla. Go get them.
Thank you.
All right, all. Take care.
Okay.
Have a good weekend. Thanks.
All right.
Hey,
Thank
bye,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.